Hi. So I wanted to finish talking a little bit about what I had went into last night, which got I got interrupted by a phone call, and I didn't get to finish filming. But I was talking about specifically when a woman decides to give a man all the answers to her heart, like a list of things that she likes or whatever. And I was just talking about the debate that you will see a lot of times between women and stuff. Online, it'd be like, oh, don't tell a man everything because, they like to fight for you, or, they like to chase, or they like this or that, and then some women are just like, they're just like, here it is. Here's all the answers or whatever. Anyway, I was talking about that last night. So if you didn't see that, that's one of my previous, it's like, I uploaded it last night. So it's like 1 or 2 videos back. Okay. Anyway, and I wanted to finish talking a little bit about that and, just kind of like my own personal thoughts. Okay. Again, I'm nobody's, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a relationship, analyst, whatever, I just have my own personal experience. Right. I can say that, I was the type of, maybe, let's say it was my first marriage with Travis. And in general, when I was younger, I definitely was not the type to just like, here you go, here's everything about me. I've always been maybe open or honest, but I never really thought about that. Never really thought about having a list of things I like or whatever. But the older I got, and then in my second marriage, I definitely was like, you know what, let me start keeping a list because I need to make it easier for him to try to make me happy, right? Now, my thought is that it really doesn't matter. It really just doesn't matter if a guy has a list. Okay, because it's like, okay, if I knowingly give a guy a list of the things that I like. For example, I remember on my list, and I have it, it's on my phone. It says, I liked my full 8 hours of sleep. That was actually, it was on my list 3 times. Let me have my sleep. I need my sleep. Don't wake me up out of my sleep. Don't, let me have my sleep. I don't like to be bothered because when I'm tired or whatever, I don't get my sleep. I'm really, my first husband used to call me Krabby Patty. He used to say I was Krabby Patty because like most women, we need our sleep. So for me, it's like a luxury, but it's a necessity, right? So it's like, don't interrupt me, right? And that was on my list. Believe it or not, that was nothing that he had to do, but more or less what not to do. Don't wake me up out of my sleep talking about we need detergent. We were out of detergent or laundry or this or that. I can't find this or whatever, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, when you're trying to go to work because maybe you get up super early. That's not going to work for me, right? That's going to make the evil come out of me, that is what happened. I remember. So I had to put it on my list, let me sleep, don't wake me up, right? The other thing that was on my list I have very simple things like taking walks or, just little things, right? But here's the thing. Like I said, I have found that you can give a man all the answers and things I like my green tea, stuff like that, right? And I have yet to find a man to actually be able to manipulate me because of me giving him all the answers to everything that I want, right? I mean, I've yet to actually find a man that has actually been able to successfully manipulate me, right? Because I'm willingly giving you this list of, let's say, 10 basic things that I like, right? And I'm more or less let's just see, can you get it right? Are you going to be able to get it right? And I'm telling you, when I say I'm sorry, I don't know. I've yet to find a man. I've yet to actually meet a man that's yeah, he gets it all right. And is able to trick me or be a trickster because of what I've told him, right? For me, I more or less am able to tell, basically, how smart is he? What it shows me is, A, how much does he really even care about what I tell him? Is he actually even listening? Is he even paying attention? Okay? And it's is he smart? And to me, when I remember certain things Travis knew I liked and I would tell him, he knew about it. It was an open thing or whatever. So when I saw him actually putting forth effort to actually trying to make me happy, it was I don't know. I took it as, oh, thank you. You actually cared enough to actually do X, Y, Z, I don't know. So my answer to that is quite simply, like, if he's smart, he'll take the list and he'll do it. If you have a woman who's open enough and willing to actually give you the ABCs to what she likes, right? Now, here's the other part to that. If you're with somebody that you got good chemistry, and likely you're probably opposites attract. So what that means is you're going to always be a source of, like, a puzzle. You're going to always be like a never-ending puzzling type of equation, or like math equation, or something that you'll never be able to quite figure out. And the reason why I say that is because when you're opposites attract, but you have the same values and the same morals, and you decide to love each other, right? But you're opposite attract, that means that you approach life in opposite manners, right? And so to the other person, they're going to find that usually very fascinating. Like, how did you come to that conclusion? Or why did you arrive to that? Or how did you do that? Or whatever, right? And so it'll be a source of more inquisitiveness, and not, it shouldn't be like more of a begrudging kind of like weighty, oh God, I don't want to do this, or whatever, right? So it's like you can give a man the list, like, I like ABC, and he still goes and accomplishes the same thing in a totally different manner than maybe you would have done it, right? Because you're opposites attract. So it still is a good sense of, like, there's still a good tug and pull, or like, yeah, is that what I'm trying to say? Like a little bit of tugging, a little bit of pulling. There's still a good sense of this kind of back and forth, but not too much. So in other words, it's like in other words, I can give a man, or he can give me, a list of everything he likes, right? But it's like in the movie Coming to America. Remember how he had all those women or whatever, and they were basically just yes women, just saying yes, and anything you want, anything you say, whatever. Nobody wants that, really. I mean, let's be real. The reason why he didn't want that, he didn't pick her or whatever, is because that's not what he wanted, right? He wanted the other one, that it was a real natural attraction, and she could still say yes to him. She could still be loving to him. She can still do the things he likes, but she's still gonna do it in a manner and in a way that's going to be like, it's not just here you go, right? It's going to be, when there's that equal give and take, and there's a back and forth or whatever, and there's that opposites attract pull, it's like, oh, you did this for me, I'm gonna do this for you. Oh, you did this for me, I'm gonna do this for you. But it's kind of like a little bit of it's just a natural kind of, like, I don't want to say game playing, because it's really not, it's not playing games, but it's just how when a good relationship is formed and they're opposites, right? One is usually where one is lacking, the other one is not, right? So if one person is weak in structure, the other person usually is strong in structure. Okay, so it's like that, right? So I don't know. Again, I feel like it doesn't matter if I give a man a list of things that I like or not. It doesn't matter. It really the matter is if the man actually wants to do that for you, if he desires and he loves you enough to want to do the things on the list. And even when he does do the things like take you on a walk, or just whatever it is that you have on your list. I know for me, I'm trying to remember. I got, it's on my phone, and I don't want to stop this video. But I remember I have like 10 basic things on my list of things that I like. I think places that I like to go. For me, I like painting, stuff like that. And for me, mine are all like very low or little or no money things. I think like making my bath water, I think that's like on the list. I don't know. It was just things like that. I have to go back and look. Like I said, letting me sleep, letting me have my freedom. I don't know. Just things like that. Anyway, whatever they were, right? The fact of the matter is that it don't matter if he's really out, if he really doesn't have your best interest at heart, he's only going to be able to put up a front for so long. It's like, in other words, he can have that list, but he's not going to be able to use it and manipulate it to his advantage, really. If he has ill intentions towards you, if all he really wants to do is maybe use you or whatever. I mean, it's gonna come to an expiration date so fast, right? It's not gonna last. Like, that's not, he's not gonna really be able to manipulate you like that, because you can only fake it till you make it for so long. Before you're like, okay, it's just like he doesn't want to do it. If he doesn't like taking walks, or he doesn't want to spend time with you, or he doesn't really love you, or whatever, he's just not going to do it. It doesn't matter how many times you told him what you want, right? It doesn't really matter. He's just not going to do it. So anyway, that was kind of like my thoughts on that particular issue or aspect, right? And the other thing that that I've been thinking a lot about, and I did a little bit of meditating on, and was doing a little bit of my Bible reading, was in Exodus, right? And I was thinking about Pharaoh and the Israelites, right? And we remember how when Moses came back and told Pharaoh, hey, Jehovah said, let my people go. It's time for them to go. It's time for them to exit. That's why the name of the book is Exodus, right? It was time for them to go to the promised land, right? And Pharaoh was like, no, I don't know who. First of all, who is you, Moses? I don't know who you are or whatever. And then, of course, remember Moses initially was raised up in the house of Pharaoh, right? So they were not looking at him as anybody to be respected or trusted, or, as a leader or a spokesperson for Jehovah. And Pharaoh also did not even respect Jehovah's name and who he was as a God, right? But he also did not respect Moses. Now, remember what happened, right? It was like Pharaoh was commissioned and was told to let them go. Like his time with them and them being in bondage, right? It was over. It was over. Time was up. And, the Bible does say to everything there's an appointed time, right? But when Jehovah has a divine plan, or when he has his divine will, or he has something that he's already spoken, right? It's like you could try to throw roadblocks as much as you want. You could try to block as much as you want. Like Pharaoh tried to block the Israelites, right? And he was warned, and he was continuing to warn. And every time he was warned and he still wouldn't do it, remember what happened? He got another plague. So he got 10 plagues, right? He kept getting plagues. It was, remember, it was like the locust came, and then what was it, fire, and then it was like the Nile River turned to blood, and it was, it was just plagues and plagues and plagues and plagues, right? And each time, though, he was warned. Each time he was warned, like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. You need to let them go. Let them go, right? But he didn't. He stayed obstinate. He kept trying to block Jehovah's will. And so another plague kept hitting him until finally the worst of the worst hit, which was his own son was taken, right? And all of the firstborn. And that had to crush his spirit and his haughtiness and his ego down so bad, to the point that he finally said, go, just go, right? So it's like you can try to put up blocks, or if you have a divine mission, or you have a mission, or that God or Jehovah has told you something, that he has told something, that he has shared something with you, he told you something or whatever, right? When you're humble, you just learn to listen. When you're humble, you've just learned to just, let me just listen. But when you're not humble, that's what it looks like. Or when other people don't believe what that divine purpose was, or don't believe what you have shared that Jehovah has told you or whatever. When other people don't believe you, they will put up blocks. They will block you and try to block you and try to block your blessings, block whatever that is, because they don't, it's their haughtiness, right? And, eventually all blocks, when it is Jehovah's will, when it is already spoken by him, and it is already his Holy Spirit for something, right? For something, for someone to, for you to have a certain, if God has said, I want you to work at a certain job, or I want you to work with a certain person, or I want you to marry somebody, or I want you to live in a certain area, because this is what we see in the Bible. He told people in the Bible, he would say, I want you to move, go to this land, go here, do this, do that, right? Jehovah will give you a divine mission, and he will tell you. He will give you that download. He will. He absolutely will. But when you don't listen, or you try to block it, or somebody tries to block that for you, right? You will see eventually you will see Jehovah by his hand. He will remove that block. He will move them. He will move whatever is in the way, whatever that is, right? Because he's already spoken it, right? He's already willed it to be. We just have to have the trust and the faith that is his purpose, right? Or his by his design. But if not, if you're experiencing blocks and you're experiencing, like Pharaoh, bad things, and sometimes we know, sometimes like Job, it was not your fault, right? But that always will come to an end as well. But if you know that you are purposely standing your ground on something in particular, or maybe you think you're right about something, and you keep trying to prove you're right about something, but yet you keep getting knocked down, or you keep getting proven wrong, or you are continuing to, basically, if you know you're being the obstacle to someone, something, or something, right? And you keep receiving something bad because you're standing in the way, or you're blocking someone, okay? You should think about that, because God will continue to send you messages until you get out of the way. And each one, it'll get worse and worse. And you don't want that. You don't want to be on the wrong side of, blocking someone else's divine blessing or someone else's divine mission or whatnot, right? You don't want to be on the wrong side of that, because it doesn't, you won't win. You just can't win, because you can't win against God. You just can't. You really just can't. So, I always encourage people, like, when you read your Bible, or when you or when you're meditating, like, which side are you on? Are you trying to actively block something? Or are you easily letting things go, right? So, let me put this into terms that, like, what we all can maybe understand. We have all been told that you have to let some things go to get something new, right? And maybe to get a new blessing. And maybe it has been, a message has been given to you that you need to let something go or someone go, right? Okay? Because you feel like God is telling you, let something go, let someone go, let a job go. Like, let that job go so that I can bless you with a new job. Or let that person go so that I can bless you with a new person, right? And you know that this is what you've gotten, or someone else or whatever, but your employee, your employee, she wants to go get a new job, and she's like, yeah, you know what, this is no longer my will, this is no longer God's will for my life or whatever, it's time for me to move on to another job or whatever. But that employer is blocking for whatever reason, like not letting them go for whatever reason, or trying to give them a hard time, or not giving them a good reference or something, whatever that is, right? That person is literally going to receive karma. What do you say, karma? Or bad. They will receive a judgment for that, right? Because they're trying to block something that's divine, or they're trying to get in somebody's way. And so when you develop the mindset of, you let people, places, and things go, right? Because if it is indeed God's will for you to have that job, that person, that car, that situation, that money, that whatever, he will bring it to you. He will bring it back to you, or you will have it. Because if it is God's will, and he has already set it in motion, he's already set it, his Holy Spirit, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Nobody can block it. It might get delayed. It might just get delayed, but it will not stay blocked, because it's God's will, right? So this is, I remember learning this actually years and years ago. Years ago, when in my first awakening, what you want to call awakening, when I had my first come to Jesus moment with my first husband. And I remember him telling me, I need to talk to you face to face. It's gonna be me and you. And he did. He sat my butt down, and I had my spiritual whippings. And but I let a lot of things go. I mean, I remember I let everything go, from cars to houses to husbands. I was willing to let it all go for Jehovah's will to take place, right? And in fact, when I got to that place, that was when things started happening and aligning up properly. And it was because Jehovah saw the bigger picture with me and my husband. He saw the bigger picture. He knew what needed to happen, right? Anyway, that was when I first learned that you have to be willing to let things go and not to have an ego or be worried about reputation and things like that. It's because I went through that. It was a really hard time. It was a good, well, it was a hard time in general for maybe a couple of years, but that particular time period where Jehovah was really talking to me face to face and getting me to understand things, that was about a 6-month period that he worked on me. Excuse me. And I'm so thankful for that time that I had, because it brought me closer to Jehovah God. And it helped me to understand that I really could trust him in what he was telling me. Right? And so I just went through another time in my period, I would say another second great awakening, where it was like I knew what I was told, but I didn't listen to it. And Jehovah reminded me. He reminded me. He was like, no, you heard me, and you need to listen, right? And so, again, willing to let things go, like just let it go, let things go, because, you know, whatever his divine will is and purpose for you, it's going to happen. It will return. It's just going to. This is just a part of life, right? And this is the way he has designed it to be, because he, this is God. This is, you know, he's created us. Like, we're in his world. This is his world that he created, right? And we're supposed to honor him, glorify him, and give him the praise and glory for all good things that come, right? Goodness gracious. So anyway, I had kind of wanted to finish up that video from last night and talk a little bit about that, and about, you know, understanding and there's a lot of Bible examples, a lot. Okay. Pharaoh was just one of them, where, you have to let things go. You have to be willing to let things go, or willing to either, sacrifice, right, for the new to come in, for your next level, up, or for the next blessing to come in. A lot of times God he will reward you. Like I knew somebody, I had a friend of mine who, of his own fruition, decided that he didn't want to celebrate holidays because of their pagan nature. And, you know, that he, really learned about Jehovah God, and really, decided to walk that path, to walk, with Jehovah God, and understanding that the meaning is, you know, he doesn't like anything, any untruths or any paganism or things like that, right? And so he didn't belong to any particular organization or anything, but he just decided to, of his own fruition, to not celebrate any holidays that were pagan, right? And that is something that you could say that he was giving up, especially if you used to celebrate, right? If you used to celebrate, Jehovah looks at that as a sacrifice. He looks at that as a true sacrifice. You were willing to give up something, right? Celebrating holidays or whatever, right? And he told me that, right? And then, in fact, after he did that, he did receive his blessing. He received his gift. He actually did receive his gift for that sacrifice, right? And a lot of times people don't even understand, or maybe they don't even recognize or realize I actually put that 2 and 2 together for him, like showed him, like, actually, no, what you did was a good thing. Jehovah is literally happy with you. You were willing to give that up, and now he's blessing you. And I showed him what his blessing, his gift was, right? So the fact is though, that there's plenty of examples in the Bible where you can see that universal law, that you have to let something go in an honest, loving, and truthful way, okay, supersedes you getting your next gift or level up, especially when it is divinely guided, especially when it's been something that God has actually told you, especially especially, even more so when it is in accordance to your prayers, or in accordance to what God has actually laid upon your heart, right? Even more so, right? So don't be afraid, to understand and develop the concept of letting something go before you're getting something new. And in fact, even more so, like, I love when parents enact with children, like, before they get a new toy, they have to get one that they have to take to the to give away, give to the needy, or give to a friend or whatever, but they have to give one toy away before they get a new toy. I really like that. I did that for a little while with my kids, but I didn't stick with it very long because life got crazy. But I do feel like that's a good way of teaching your children from a young age, that you got to learn to let something go, to let in the new, to make room for the new, right? Okay, have a good day.